Shakur Stevenson picks up the WBO interim World Super Featherweight title with a 12-round points decision win over Jeremiah Nakathila. This was an extremely boring fight. I mean, this could have put a glass eye to sleep. You know, when you're watching a boxing show live, it's easier, for me anyway, it's easier for me to sit through a boring 12-rounder like this when it's live because there's always the element of the unknown. You don't know. Maybe Stevenson comes out with a grandstand finish in the 12th round and knocks this guy out. Maybe he has some shaky moments in the fight. You know, maybe there's some drama yet to come, which the action up to this point hasn't given us any indication of. But when you already know the result of the fight, before you watch it, you know that it goes 12 rounds, it's very difficult to sit through this type of soporific affair. It was such a boring fight. And look, I like skills as much as most hardcore boxing fans do. But I like skills that the end result is damage to the opponent, right? Those kind of skills. Whereas with Stevenson here, he was up against an awkward guy. You know, Nakathila had a very awkward style, weird stance, weird body mechanics, just a weird kind of fighter. And I guess Stevenson had some trouble timing him and walking him onto the kind of shots he likes to walk people onto. But whatever the ingredients were in this fight that resulted in it being boring, it was what it was. It was a boring fight. And to be honest with you, the less said about it, the better. I really struggled to get through this one. I was waiting for Stevenson to do something. Maybe it was a one-off. Maybe next time he comes up against the guy who's awkward, he'll look more impressive than this. Maybe because it's an interim world title fight and he wants to make sure he becomes full WBO world champion. He was being more cautious than he would be in a different situation. I don't know. I hope that's the case, because if this is what Stevenson's going to be going forward, then you have to put him in the same category as what Devin Haney should be. Devin Haney, maybe that was also in Stevenson's mind. I don't know. You know, the fact that Haney was boxing, I don't want to say out of character, but boxing outside of the style that would suit him best against the Linares, where you should just be purely boxing rather than trying to go for a knockout and impress and land all these big power shots. You should just be looking to nullify a Linares if you're a Devin Haney, a guy with that type of ability and skill set. And, you know, maybe Stevenson understands what he is and decided that that was the best course of action for him. And I'm not hating on that, by the way. If that's the best way for Stevenson to fight this particular opponent, it is what it is. I'm not saying, oh, he needs to do this and he needs to do that. I'm sure he knows himself as a fighter in terms of what he can and can't do better than I do, right? From a technical point of view, from an athletic point of view, I'm sure he knows much better than me what he can do against who. But as a fan watching, I wasn't entertained. I'm not hating on Stevenson for not being entertaining, but I would rather watch fighters. I would rather give my time, and in many instances my money, to fighters who are going to, if not guarantee entertainment, then produce a very high probability. You know, have a very high probability that they're going to entertain me. So it was what it was. Stevenson, as I say, I don't want to say he sleepwalked through the fight, but it was a chess match all the way. Stevenson was the superior guy at the end of the day. He was the sharper of the two, the more accurate of the two. Pecking and poking his way through 12 rounds. It was what it was. Nobody is going to remember this fight for very long. Maybe you're one of these guys who likes these kind of chess match fights. You find it really riveting. You know, I find a chess match fight entertaining if somebody's got thunder in their hands, that's when a chess match fight is entertaining. I mean, a lot of Adonis Stevenson fights had a bit of a chess match element to them. But it was entertaining because you knew that if Stevenson lands that left hand properly, the other guy's going to have serious problems. That's what made it entertaining. And Stevenson could box, But when you've got a chess match where nobody, if not has the power to hurt the other guy, has the ability to land often enough and cleanly enough to hurt the other guy, neither guy's able to do that, then do you really find that entertaining? It is what it is. Different strokes for different folks. I mean, if you're going to be winning fights in this way, where you're just outboxing people and it's not particularly entertaining, there's other things you can do to get the crowd involved. There's other things you can do to make it more engaging for viewers. Muhammad Ali, of course, was a great example of this. The showboating, the hot dogging, the trash talking even in the ring, all that kind of stuff. Theatrics. I know some referees will stop you from doing it, and I wish the referees wouldn't, because a lot of the stuff Muhammad Ali used to do back in the days, most fighters trying to do that now would be admonished by the ref. And I think that's a shame, particularly in a fight like this. It's, the referee's been a real killjoy if a guy's showboating in a soporific fight like this and he tells them to stop it. It's like, what? You do realize this is entertainment, don't you, Mr. Referee? And we're watching a boring fight. Let's see something like some showboating, some hot dogging, some trash talking in there. Might make it a bit more interesting. Maybe one of the fighters gets mad, makes a mistake, and then he does get chinned. It just introduces an element of unpredictability and fun and theatricality. Muhammad Ali was great for that. Sugar Leonard often did that in fights. And there have been many others over the years. Tyson Fury, of course, in recent years. So, yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Shakur Stevenson dominating Jeremiah Nakathila to become the WBO interim super featherweight world champion. How good do you think Shakur Stevenson is? Hope I didn't just call him Adonis a second ago. And when I was talking about Adonis Stevenson earlier on, the name can get stuck in your head. But how far do you think he can go in terms of, obviously most people think he's going to be a world champion and probably multi-weight world champion. But will this guy go down as an all-time great? Or will he turn out to be just more of a run-of-the-mill type of world champion? What do you guys think in the comments below?